and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Running Point, a Thursday edition. I'm Anthony Hartwig. And to answer the theme songs question, I am not on my own. I am joined by Ty Bartell, as always.
Funny thing about that theme song, too, Anthony, when we started this new era of Running Point, Anthony came up to me and sang that song word for word and asked me if I was going to help him out with the new era of Running Point. He just
That
came up
is
to me with
untrue.
Am I on my own?
That
Well,
is
can you help
such a
me?
lie. If anyone knows anything about me, it's that I do not sing at all, ever. Ty caught me jamming in the pre-show meeting, but it's okay. That never happened. We have an awesome way to start the show off today, Ty, because we're going to be joined by a hero herself. She put on the cape yesterday in a big way for the Poland Bulldogs. We are joined by Mary Brandt of the Poland softball team. Mary, how's that cape feeling? Is it feeling a little tight?
It was awesome.
Talk about that experience first and foremost. What is kind of the mentality when you guys you're down, you're being no hit to? What are you kind of saying, being one of the leaders of this team, to your teammates on the offensive side of things to make sure, because you guys were never down and out of this game. It was only a one-run game. So what are you kind of saying as a leader to your younger girls, trying to keep them in the game mentally?
Well, defensively, Katie had an awesome game. She kept us in it, and we were really struggling. Hubbard's pitcher, I give a lot of credit to her because she was pretty good. She was striking all of us out. We just had to time her up better, and we were trying to learn all of her spins and what she was throwing because we knew if we could do that, then we could time her up. And I just try to always keep cheering, and I know all the younger girls and older girls do that too because that helps to rattle pitchers and just get everyone motivated.
All right, so this is kind of the obligatory post-game press conference question that everyone gets asked when they hit a walk-off home run. Got to take us through that at bat, what kind of things you saw, what you were looking for, and eventually what you saw that you liked and you hit over the fence, of course.
Well, it started with Emily getting on base. We wouldn't have won without her getting on base, and Connie laid down an awesome bunt. And I was definitely nervous walking up to the plate, but I wanted her to pitch to me. I was looking for a perfect pitch to hit, just looking for a base hit just to get on base and move Emily home to tie it up, and a ball came right down the middle, and it went a lot farther than just a base hit.
Talking about this too, getting no hit is something too for a team that can affect composure a lot of times. And we talked about what you were saying to the younger girls, but what are you kind of doing yourself too to keep yourself composed and not let frustrations take over at any point during that game?
Well, it definitely is hard with us striking out not to get down on yourself, but you just got to step up to bat with a whole different mindset. You strike out, you have to just leave it in the past and walk up to the plate with a lot of confidence. I think our walk-up songs help with that. It makes us like in the zone, and you just stay intact.
Gotta ask what that walk-up song was then. What did you walk up to in that at bat then? What was the song?
It's actually funny. It's a song from the movie Home, Dancing in the Dark. I'm more of like a low-key person. I kind of go with the flow, so I wanted to pick something that wasn't really heavy metal or anything like that, kind of like just a vibey song.
I have a feeling Dancing in the Dark is going to be playing a lot more at Poland games after that.
I don't think you're low key anymore, Mary. I think you have definitely put your foot in the ground in area softball. This is a Hubbard team. You're going to have to play them again. Obviously, they want to be competitive in the NE8, and the NE8 is going to be so good this year. Talk about just how much you're looking forward to this season as a whole. I know you finally got it started last night. Hopefully, you get a game in tonight as well. How excited are you to just let this season unravel and get it going into the spring?
I'm super excited. We've been kind of cooped up in the gym. You can only really hit, so it's really nice to get outside. And I think this year will be pretty fun. All the girls I play with, we've played with since we were little, so I feel like we have a lot of good team chemistry. And if we put our minds to it, we can, I think, do some damage this year.
How big is a win like this and just generating momentum and generating that excitement for the rest of the year? It's not just a win, but it's like Anthony said, it's a conference win too to get you guys started off on the right foot.
It's definitely a good way to start the conference and the season. I think that with what happened last night, we'll definitely be able to keep that going, hopefully, into our further games. Tonight, if we play, will be a tough one, but if we come together, I think we should be good.
Mary, thank you so much for kind of joining us in the middle of the day to talk about this game last night, talk about that awesome at bat. Good luck the rest of the season. I know down the line we'll get you in for a full player profile. We'll get you all done up for an interview. But thanks for coming on real quick and just telling us about this game and that last at bat that I think everyone in the softball world heard. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I think that one was an easy player of the game nominee for that one the other night too. Yeah, that was walk-off dingers. I think you get player of the game.
Sometimes it's so imperative that we get a post-game press conference that we just do it the next day on Running Point because we cannot let that go without hearing Mary Brandt's thoughts on that at bat. And how about that? Let's just talk about the game since we just had her on. If you didn't know, Poland won last night in the softball field 2-1 over Hubbard. Haley Croyle was pitching a gem, no hitting the Bulldogs through 6 innings. Emily Denny leads off the 7th with a walk. Connie Kugris sacrifices her over with a good sacrifice bunt. So Mary Brandt comes up with a really speedy runner and Emily Denny on second. And so I think the goal of that bat, like he said, just get a base hit. You're probably going to score Denny from second anywhere in the grass with her speed. And sometimes when you keep things simple, you get results. And she didn't try to hit a home run. She just tried to hit the ball hard. And that ball went way over the fence. No doubt home run. And it walked off the Bulldogs. Their only hit of the game was the walk-off home run.
Credit Poland pitching in the circle, too, because in a game where you're getting no hit, it's very easy to let that frustration boil over onto the defensive side of things, start making some errors, pitchers start leaving some pitches over the center of the plate. Poland kept it close. 1-0 the game was for the entire game up until the end there. Poland pitching showed, again, why they usually lead in the NE8 and why they're composed from the top down, too. Pitchers kept them in that game the entire way through and gave the Lady Bulldogs a chance to win. And in this case, Bulldogs just happened to take that opportunity and run with it.
Scoreless through 5. Hubbard tacked on 1 in the 6th. And then, of course, Poland with the walk-off home run in the bottom of the 7th. So Poland is 1-0. And Hubbard will try to split with them when they meet up eventually later on the season. Of course, the Wednesday is the one makeup day for league play. Poland's scheduled to play at Canfield tonight. So they will, of course, try to make up that game at Hubbard at some point this season. We'll keep an eye on that because that's going to be a pretty dang good one, because if you thought Haley Croyle was all that Hubbard had to offer in the circle, you are sorely mistaken, because they have O'Brien back there in the 2 spot for the circle that can pitch really well as well. So should be a fun one when they meet again. Poland again tonight, scheduled to play Canfield at home.
Yeah, Poland's riding high after their win, and Canfield's a little upset after the last 2 as well. So what that means for this one, who knows, too. With the game of baseball and softball, anything happens any day, too. And literally, extend that anybody can beat anybody. And it all really kind of depends on how that person on the mound is feeling or how that person in the circle is feeling on that given night either.
Let's go into some more finals and go to the games I guess you and I were at, as we always kind of try to start off with. I was at South Range for their season opener. They played Jefferson. This is a game that started off looking like it was going to be super competitive, and then South Range's offense it was the one that was more consistent through the whole game. It only had one inning where it did not score, and they run-ruled Jefferson 11-1 after falling behind 1-0. A home run in the top of the first from Jefferson put them in the driver's seat for a minute, and then the Raiders tied up in the bottom of the inning, took the lead, and never let it go. They won in 5 innings. A walk-off ground out from Hannah Kraus. The player of the game was Maddie Jones. She was perfect at the plate, 2 for 2 with a walk, and she also hit in 2 RBI and scored 2 runs. I had the chance to catch up with Maddie afterwards. Let's hear what she had to say in her post-game press conference from South Range. Madison Ziegler, today's player of the game. South Range opens the season with an 11-1 win over Jefferson. Maddie, how did it feel to kind of be back out on the field, and you had to wait a couple days because of weather, but you're back out today?
Yeah, I felt good. We really didn't even know we were going to play today or not, so it was exciting.
You went 2 for 2, got a walk, were on base every single time you went up the plate. I mean, as a leadoff hitter, how much pride do you take on just getting on base?
I feel like my job is to get on base, so I try every time as hard as I can to get on.
Wasn't the best conditions out there in the outfield, but you still made some incredible catches too.
Thank you.
I mean, talk about what it was like to kind of get the feel out there.
It was nice, and I'm back in the same spot, so I feel pretty comfortable out there.
All right, here comes South Range. They're coming off of the state championship run where they went all the way to that game. How hungry is this team to get back?
We want to go right back to where we were last year.
And what kind of things do they have to do? If I had to say South Range has to do this to get back to that game, what would you say to that?
I think we need to communicate more and just pick up some of the little mistakes, and we'll be there.
All right, Maddie, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on Player of the Game.
Thank you.
Muted. Not so easy, is it, Ant?
Doing pretty good for a while. But yeah, I missed that one. Thank you for catching it. But Donnie Farron yelling in the background like he always does. You can hear him. Whose keychain is this? One of my favorite parts of outdoor interviews. No, South Range gets the win 11-1. They move to 1-0. They are scheduled to play Niles on Monday to continue NE8 play. South Range, they looked like they were poised to make another run. I know it's just one game. Obviously, Samantha Susani gave up that leadoff home run in the first inning, but never looked back from that and didn't let it affect her. That's pretty impressive. And South Range looks pretty good against a pretty good Jefferson lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, good win for them to start the season. It's always good when you can open up with a conference win. And Raiders were itching to get back out on the field. They got out there and they took care of business.
All right, you did the baseball game at Austintown Fitch, and it was a wild one to say the least. Ty, I'll let you kind of talk about it because obviously you were there. 8 innings, wild one. You thought you were going to be there until 10. What was the difference?
Looking at this too, you saw a great pitching performance in Chagrin Falls, not even originally scheduled on this game for the Falcons. This was kind of a one that they kind of just threw together last second too. And your pitching matchup last night was Jake Coral for the Falcons and Leo Fernera for the Tigers, and both of these guys pitched absolute gems. Let's go through their numbers real quickly for you. For Fernera of Chagrin Falls, 6 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 3 hits given up, one walk, 1 run allowed, unearned on that run too, scored off of an error and an RBI single. For Fitch's Carroll, 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 4 hits allowed, no walks, 1 run given up, unearned on that. That was an unearned run as a player reached by error, and Andrew Kirkpatrick hit him home for Chagrin Falls. Chagrin tied the game late. Fitch actually took an early 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. They held that all the way up until the sixth. Top of the sixth inning, Andrew Kirkpatrick had that RBI single, tied things up at 1 apiece, and it just became a pitcher's duel. They got it into the eighth. Fitch had a chance to win it in the bottom of the seventh. Actually had a player thrown out, Popio, at the plate as well. But in the top of the inning, top of the eighth, they brought in Joe Roth for an inning. He pitched a scoreless inning of relief. And then the Falcons were able to load the bases and get a walk-off hit by pitch as Brandon Popio got nailed with the bases loaded to walk it off 2-1 for the Falcons. Quite literally one of the most incredible games you can see. And one thing both Mark Roth and I commented on the entire game was just seeing how sharp both these pitchers were for first game of the season. Third game, I believe, or second game maybe for Chagrin Falls. But early in the season, you never see pitchers usually in the baseball realm this sharp. And I mean, these guys both went almost complete games themselves. 7 combined hits between two pitchers, 1 walk, and 2 runs given up, both unearned. Like gems on the mound from both sides. Fitch just so happened to score the last run that mattered, but I mean, that could have went either way. And we see a lot of AAC teams doing this. They're scheduling some really good teams. That Chagrin Falls squad has some good pitching over there.
You had a post game with Jake Coral that turned into a pretty good conversation with Jake Coral. Sometimes post game interviews can morph into other things, but let's hear all the things that he had to say in this post game interview / conversation with Jake Coral after their 2-1 win over Chagrin Falls.
Another player of the game interview. This time we go to the baseball side of things with pitcher Jake Coral after his performance against Chagrin Falls. As we'll pull up his stat line here. 7 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 4 hits given up, no walks, 1 run allowed. It was unearned, of course. And first and foremost, Jake, let's just talk about it. Rarely do we see guys with command as sharp as yours in this early season pitching duel. What was kind of working out for you, and what was the game plan that you guys had going into this one, and how'd you feel you executed?
Well, I mean, really, we didn't know much about Chagrin Falls. I mean, they were a late schedule. We scheduled them yesterday, I think. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to go into this. I remember the last time I pitched for my high school team, and I was like, I got to be dialed in and ready to go. And so I came out. Off speed was working. Fastball was moving. It was working pretty well.
Talking about that and getting into a pitcher's duel where, I mean, 1 run's given up on both sides for a majority of the game. Both of them are unearned. Looking at it from the offensive side of things, what are you kind of saying as being one of the leaders in that huddle too to your guys, trying to just get them motivated and get them focused on just getting that next run to secure a victory?
Yeah, I mean, we were going down. Like, we were swinging at a lot. But, I mean, that guy was throwing pretty good for Chagrin Falls. And we were going down swinging, though, and we had some good hits that we pieced together, and eventually we were able to scrape one across in extras, but, I mean, it was tough facing that first guy.
Talking about the times, too, when you guys kind of had some trouble, too. Game-winning run, got into scoring position at some times for Chagrin Falls. They had the tying run on base a couple other times before they actually tied the game. What are some things you do to kind of just reset yourself, compose yourself? Because during the broadcast, that was one thing both Mark and I commented on, too, was just the composure of both pitchers. You guys never seemed too worried about the situation at hand. So what is it that you do to kind of keep yourself composed out there on the mound?
I mean, really, I just try and have fun. I, like, look around, and I just try and find stuff. Like, I was looking over at the softball game a little bit. I was messing around with my teammates. I was just having fun, playing relaxed. And I knew I would be able to throw some strikes here and there. It was just, I got to get them on this guy, make sure the other guy on second staying close.
Talking about that too, 9 Ks today. You were finishing a lot of guys at the plate, but for around the infield, there's a lot of newer guys getting some valuable varsity starting time here. Talking about guys like Josh Lowe that made some pretty big plays at third. What can you say as being one of the senior leaders for this team about the play you saw around your infielders today?
Oh, I mean, it was good. Like, they were on fire. Josh Lowe had a few good plays there. Mikey Sorrentino had a few balls. He didn't get too much tonight. I stole a few, actually, that were up the middle. Carson Fuller, a new guy at second base. He was doing pretty good over there. He'll be a young guy that plays for us a lot, probably. And then Brandon Stevenson over at first base, he was holding it down over there. He did pretty good.
Talking about this too, this is a team that has I would say a good mix of older guys to pair with the younger guys as well. What would you say yourself personally? I guess you always kind of have led the team on the on-field stats and doing things on the field. But what have you done as a leadership role and to do things more vocally this season to kind of take that next step in being one of the senior leaders and one of the captains for this team?
I mean, they're always listening to us. We're always helping them out when we're in the cages. And then when we go to team lifting, it's even better. We're helping them out because some of us have been there for 4 years lifting and working hard, and it's finally paying off for us.
What was the discussions with Coach Paris during the final stretches of that game? I know he came out a couple of times to talk.
Oh, yeah.
And what were those discussions like out there on the mound too? And what was he kind of just talking with you about, I guess?
Well, some of it was just like situational, like figuring out what we're doing with the guy on second. A few of our calls behind the plate were getting mixed up a little bit. And then eventually he was like, all right, you got it. Like, let's go. Here we go. And then when I came off the field, I'd always talk to him, and he'd be like, what's working, what's not working. And we always figure it out that way.
I want to just talk about it too. You being one of, like I said, the senior leaders for this team. Reflect on your time being a Falcon with the school system, with the team, with the coaches. Shout out some of your supporters and just some big names that you want to thank in this program ahead of your last ride, I guess, with the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, all the coaches from like freshman year all the way up, Coach Drummond, Coach Shepke, Coach Young Shepke too. They've all been a lot of help, especially at the younger level with the younger guys, and keeping them consistent too, not just us. I think that's what helps a lot, like coming up through the years. And then Coach Paris and Coach Corbett and Pugliese and Coach Rob, they're all helping us out every day, always there, letting us, giving us new drills and stuff. And then after we're done at baseball practice, we head over to the weight room and we work our butts off. I mean, Coach Dan's been putting us through so much. And it's been awesome. It's really starting to pay off. We had a good off season of lifting. I mean, we've seen the results. Like, we got guys hitting the ball out of the infield that really wouldn't be without lifting.
Talking about the offseason work that you personally have put in, what are some things you wanted to really work and fine-tune about yourself going into this past offseason? And, I mean, only one start, obviously, but how have you seen it kind of play out on the mound, and what are some things at the plate you're trying to fine-tune?
Definitely on the mound, like my speed, getting my fastball velo up there, and my flexibility has been a lot too. I know Coach Young Chepke, he's been helping me out a lot with getting down the mound and working down. That's been like his main thing that he's helped me out with a lot. And with hitting wise, Coach Corbett's been all over me, just translating what I do in the cage to the field, because sometimes I'll go out on the field and I'll just lose it all.
It feels like it sometimes too with this sport. It's very easy to do so. Final question for you, Jake, before we let you go. You guys get the dramatic win, the walk-off victory, and a little bit drama at the end of this. But now you guys got to take this victory, enjoy it. You're 1-0 on the season, but you welcome in a pretty talented Poland Bulldogs team now going into tomorrow. How do you guys kind of take this momentum and ride it into another victory at the at Richard L. Coppola Field?
I mean, we're all going to be fired up, coming out ready to play. I think Joe's going to be back on the mound tomorrow. We'll see him out there, let him throw a little bit. I know our hitting is going to be better. We just got to, once we start putting some runs up there, gaining some confidence at the plate, I really think we'll be good. Our defense has been solid, and, I mean, I think they'll be solid again tomorrow.
Get out to that ballpark. 5 o'clock first pitch schedule. Joe Roth is scheduled to be on the mound tomorrow against the Poland Bulldogs. Well, by the time this airs, it would technically be today. Your player of the game, though, against Chagrin Falls and the Tigers, Jake Coral, with the 7-inning pitched performance, 9 Ks, 4 hits given up, no walks, and 1 run unearned. Jake, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So that was Jake Coral talking about last night's game and a couple of other things. Ty, I know that, like we said, that conversation morphed into a mind of its own a little bit. but all good, all good. And
It
he
just
had a great pitching
previews what
performance.
I said. It previews a actual full-blown 15-minute player profile with Jake Coral, or it just previews him coming on the show live for us sometime. And with the way Jake plays too, he plays in the summer leagues too. We expect to talk to him again soon, and that's not the first time you're going to see him on the mound, and certainly I don't think that's going to be the first time you see a performance like that from him this season.
I'll tell you one thing: the way he talks, sometimes it sounds like a coach's corner. I mean, he talks like a coach.
He really does. He has a great mind for the game, and you could tell that.
I mean, he was breaking down like, okay, this kid's coming up. He's gonna be this, and this for us. And I was like, oh man, is this a coach's corner?
Taking that senior leadership role serious. And I mean, the 6 seniors on the squad do a good job there. And I mean, he certainly is one that knows how to lead. And you see him too at all these sporting events. He doesn't just support the team that he's on. He supports all teams and all of his guys and all the girls in the community too. You see him at almost every sporting event, and you love seeing that too. He's just a great supporter of the community.
So once again, Fitch gets the win 2-1 over Chagrin Falls in 8 innings, a wild one in Austintown. And then you were also able to talk a little bit to the softball team because they got the win over Canfield. You didn't do the game specifically, but you're right across the parkway from them.
Yeah, talking with Coach Ward after too, and just discussing some things. I mean, what we saw, Sydney Watts threw again. She went full game, struck out 11. She did give up her first few runs though, including her first home run. But that's going to happen. And when you face girls 7-8 times in a row, it becomes a little bit easier to kind of start timing things up too, and start adjusting yourselves to it. And we saw Canfield was able to tag her, but Fitch. Big boppers came out too and late in the innings. 4 home runs in an inning.
One inning.
Sophia Senadak hit one. McKenna Hogan hit one. Maddie Taylor, who we had a player's profile on, hit one. And then Sydney Watts, her first career home run too, sent over the fence. So a lot of firsts for Sydney Watts in the last few days. But that wasn't our player of the game. Our player of the game, though, was Ayla Ray. And it was not only what she did in yesterday's game against Canfield, but what she really did in this whole series. If you listen to the stat line, 8 at-bats, 6 base hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 2 walks, 1,000 on base percentage, 1,000 batting average in her first 2 games. I mean, at the leadoff spot, what more are you asking for than a girl that just gets on base for you every single time? And yeah, when she gets on first, she could steal second too. So she's pretty much in scoring position for you at the top of the order. And her setting the table really helped out with the Falcons this week too, and I think it helped them get this huge jump in this conference. 2 wins already in the conference over Canfield.
You had the chance to catch up with Ayla Ray and talk about not just her performance last night, but also her performance overall in the series. As you said, her batting average right now sitting at 1,000.
And I mean, whenever you could say that, even for a game or 2, you're pretty happy for that. That means you had some pretty good days at the plate.
Batting 1,000 against a quality pitcher, Melina Toth. That's
Melina Toth went 2 days ago, and then the yesterday it was Bella Kennedy too. So I mean, you had the best of both. She saw both, she hit both. So I mean, next up, let's see if someone can get her out.
We'll try. They'll try. I'm sure they will. They're scheduled to play at home against Western Reserve tomorrow. That's their next slated game, I believe. So we'll see what Western Reserve brings to the table. But here's Ayla Ray in her post-game interview talking about not just last night's game, but the series and some of the things that she's put together this year.
A post-game player of the game today for Fitch softball player Ayla Ray for her contributions against the Canfield Lady Cardinals. And look at her stat line right here. 2 games, 8 at-bats, 6 hits, a double, triple, and 2 walks, too, has got on base every time against Canfield. Ayla, I guess, first and foremost, let's just go with the first question. What was really what was working out for you against these Cardinals, and what were you really seeing, and what was the approach like at the plate, at-bat to at-bat, that you found yourself finding so much success against Canfield?
Yeah, I was just going for contact hits and trying to place it where Canfield wasn't, and it was working out.
Talking about that as well, when you talk with Coach Ward too, and he has so much trust in a lot of these younger players on the team, and I think that's great to see a lot of younger players get experience too. talking about playing shortstop position and just having an impact role on the defensive side too. What were some things Coach Ward was talking with you about in your approach being the leadoff hitter and your approach also defensively playing a key role at shortstop?
Just to always stay calm and keep the energy up and encourage everyone.
Let's talk about this freshman play of Sydney Watts too. I know you and her have been playing for a little bit of time now too. I mean, 2 straight games, she goes 14 innings, strikes out 30 in the process too. And what you've seen in her play too, just being a little bit older too, what can you say from her play out of the circle and how influential she's been in these first couple games against division rivals?
She's been doing a great job. She's always been such a hard worker, and she just pushes and so successful.
Looking at, I mean, again, just looking at this stat line, 6 hits. I mean, you got 2 walks. You made it to base every single time. What were the kind of conversations that you were having with Coach Ward about being that leadoff hitter and how important it was to get on base for your hitters behind you in these last 2 games?
I just want to get everyone going. Coach Ward always tells me that I can do whatever I feel is right in the situation, and I just did what I felt would help my team best.
What's it been like playing under Coach Ward too, just from a personal aspect? What are some things outside of the sport of softball that you've gained from Coach Ward's coaching style?
He teaches everyone to be just such a great person, and we always have fun.
Let's look at this upcoming schedule too. You guys play Chardon and Western Reserve coming up, both at home too. Talk to me about just your excitement of being able to play in this beautiful ballpark and what it means that to you that the School of Fitch is putting so much time and effort into upgrading these facilities for you guys and just really making this field look more and more beautiful year in and year out.
Yeah, the improvement of our field is just keeps improving, and I thank the boosters so much for putting in all that work for it.
Boosters certainly do a great job, that's for sure, and that's what's keeping this program really one of the more prestigious ones, I think, in the area as well. Ayla, I guess my final question for you too. I mean, again, we look at this stat line and the way you've started off this season. For you to have this kind of improvement and coming out so hot out of the gate for this softball season, what are some things that you were working in the off season, offensively wise, defensively wise, that you're really seeing kind of culminate towards the beginning part of this season that you're excited about?
Just going with the pitch, and wherever the pitch is located, that you got to get the contact to that pitch in order for it to go somewhere.
And I mean, wherever this pitch seems to be located, you're finding some outfield grass. And even if it's not in the outfield, you're beating it out on the infield as well. As Ayla Ray, batting average 1,000, on base percentage 1,000 to start the season, and back-to-back wins versus the conference rival Canfield Lady Cardinals. We wish you the best of luck, Ayla, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Ayla Ray talking to Ty Bartell after her great performance against Canfield to start the season in 2 games, batting 1,000. No big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, against some really quality pitching too, and the Cardinals and what they brought to the table. So doing what she needs to do, and only a sophomore too is the thing. There's a lot of young players on this this Lady Falcons squad too, and I mean, her role being the leadoff hitter and what she serves to this team, just getting them going from the offensive side of things. When you get on base every single time or you have performances like that, it makes it really easy to kind of get those gears turning for the offense and get that to start rolling.
Talking about some other games, that I want to get to the ones that we have post games from. DJ did Canfield, and they played Strongsville. I almost said Sharpsville again. I did that yesterday. They played Strongsville last night, got the win. Looked good. DJ had the chance to talk with Gary Niddle and Landon Beitelkeys after the game. So let's hear what their post-game press conference sounded like with DJ Yoakley.
On the season, Coach Niddle, a lot of pressure, when you look at things from the outside. But inside, I think you guys could care less about the state rankings, could care less about anything. You're just worried about getting the job done, and you did it tonight.
Yeah. It took a lot of work to get this done. Not a lot of teams are playing in this area. I've been in contact with our coach for the last couple of days. Said as long as we get this field ready, we're ready to go. And credit to Strongsville. I mean, that's a big D1 program. played for a state title a couple of years ago in D1. Their shortstop's going to Wright State. They got some players. Their catcher's a dude too. So it was a great little, measuring stick for us, for them to come down here, and it lived up to expectations. I think our pitchers pitched phenomenal. Group work, I think a no-hitter into the 5th. And I thought their pitchers pitched well. I think we swung it very well today. The score doesn't necessarily show it. I think they ended up 2-3 hits, and I think we ended up with 8. But I thought we did all the things that we needed to do. Had a little rough start there in the first inning, but after that we settled down and played baseball the way we like to play baseball.
When you see that first inning where Nate's able to wiggle off the hook, that's an emphasis, right? That's a point of emphasis that you guys have that confidence going into the games like this, that you can get out of jams like that.
Absolutely. And and we have confidence in Nate. He got himself in a little trouble, and AJ, who I think had 1 error all last year, first ball of the season, hit him, we get the yips out of the way. But Nate worked himself out of that, and after that, like I said, I think he looked good. I thought Petro looked good. Gerdick looked good, and Connor Miller looked fantastic to finish it up today.
All right, now you've said multiple times, this is a schedule not for the faint at heart. You start out with Strongsville, which is a very good team, as you said. Yeah. Now we get on a bus, drive 3 hours to Toledo, and you go to the PBR tournament, and you're playing more good teams. This is not a schedule that you're supposed to make it out of necessarily unscathed like you did last year. This is a schedule that you're more worried about what you do in the tournament than you are in the regular season. Why is it so important to play those bigger teams, those stronger teams with stronger programs this time of year?
It's funny you said that. Strongsville was not on our schedule. It was one of those things I was looking to see who was open, and a couple schools had some openings, and they reached out to us, and we're like, absolutely. They were going to play Moeller and Mason, 2 of the top schools in D1, and they got bailed on. So they were fortunate to come down here. Well, we talk about this, and I can say it on here. We'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's and like I said, tip my cap to coaches from Strongsville. They just drove an hour and a half to come play us. So that's what good baseball teams do. That's what programs want to do. You want to build off and give yourself the best chances against the best teams, so that when you come tournament time, you have that experience.
First win of the year,
Yes,
a
sir.
big one. You started the game on the bump. Talk to me about what you wanted to accomplish going into it and what came out of it for you.
Last year I had some struggles on the mound with my arm, and I was out the whole year. I didn't really throw at all, so it feels good to be out here after 2 years. Came out and did the job, and I'm really, really proud of myself and the work I put in. But, the team effort behind me, get the job done.
Good-looking team on the other side, in the other dugout, and you guys held strong with a 3-1 victory. Talk to me about what you saw offensively from this team.
Offensively with 2 strikes. Slank, big hit to opposite field there. Michael Patelis, 2 opposite field hits. Bottom of the order, top of the order, everybody picking each other up. It's a great team effort.
And this is a big pitching staff that you have this year. You guys held them strong through, I think, 5.5 innings.
Yes, sir.
With no hits. What does it say about what you guys have in the tank this year?
We're all just coming after it. Everybody got in the weight room, got after it last 4 months, 5 months, and we're all ready for it. This is our last run, us seniors, and we're ready for it.
On the road to Toledo now, what are you expecting out of this PBR tournament Friday and Saturday?
The same thing we just got here. We expect to see some W's, but team effort is all we care about. Go out, get some hits together, get some pitching well, and we'll get the job done.
Apologies for that little lag there, but that was Nate Shaw. I misspoke earlier. That was Nate Shaw post-game press conference with DJ Oakley. He also has a post-game with Ben Slanker, and that can be found on the story, ysnlive.com. I want to give you a little tease to head over to ysnlive.com. Check out that Canfield baseball recap and all the other recaps that have been put up by our great team. We've been working on trying to get all these results and all the stories up. We still have, I believe, a couple to get to, but most of them have been put up on the site, ysnlive.com. You can find not just those two, the 2 Fitch ones that we played. You can find Madison Dado's post-game press conference from South Range, along with the post-game press conference with Jeff DeRose as well after South Range's win over Jefferson. And all the other recaps, once again, go over to ysnlive.com, and all the stats, recaps, and more can be found there.
Yep, absolutely. As that's where you will find all the recaps and the up-to-date information too, as including also stay with us for any cancellations, postponements, or added games, because things are always moving in the state of Ohio, especially this time of year.
Let's go over some other finals. Obviously, that final for Fitch Canfield in softball was 10-3. We talked about that one. Poland was 2-1. We talked about that one. On the baseball side, Poland beat Hubbard 9-3. They get their first win of the year. On the Columbiana baseball, they beat Warren Harding. They looked really good. 11-1. They get the win on the diamond, going up 3 divisions, all the way up to Division 1 to play Warren Harding. West Branch softball gets the win at Alliance 8-2. They look strong as their new pitcher is going to be Riley Pittman. And she's going to be kind of trying to fill the holes of Jordan Anderson. Excuse me, I lost the name for just a second. Jordan Anderson graduated and is now going to George Mason. We talked about Fitch baseball. They won 2-1 over Chagrin Falls. Lakeview, a comeback victory over Struthers, 7-5. They were down 5-3. We saw Alex Grissom get the go ahead, not the go ahead, but get a good run to make it 5-3, sliding into stealing home. And then Lakeview scored the next 4 runs, 7-5. They get the win over Struthers. I believe this is one that we split. You're muted.
I said, yeah, it was, and you got 2 points on me for it.
Yeah. We go along. Springfield. Ooh, they looked very impressive. 18-4 over Lowville. Pedal to the metal. Springfield starts off hot.
Yep, they do, and did not make no mistakes about it. They got out of the box hot, and they kept on swinging.
Champion baseball off to a good start. 8-3. They get the conference win over Brookfield. Garfield. Caden Spade throws a no-hitter in the first game of the year against Liberty, 16-0. Garfield gets the win. Softball got canceled last night. They will play Liberty at Liberty tonight. You look at Ursuline baseball. This is one you got on me, so we split that. 6-3. Ursuline gets the win over Warren JFK. They take down the Division IV reigning state champions, and they are putting baseball world on high alert.
Yep, and I got 3 points on you for that one with the 6-3 victory.
Salem has a tough one on the road against Canton South. They lose 4-2. That's the first league loss for Salem baseball in over a year.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, sometimes you need to start off with a little adversity. This does not define a season for Salem, and if anything, watch them get a lot stronger from it.
It's all about striding at the right time. You don't want to stride in March. You want to stride in May. So Salem will bounce back from that, I'm sure. LeBray looked really good, 10-0. They get the win over Campbell. McCartney pitched really well for them. East Liverpool bounces back after losing 18-0 against Edison 2 days ago. They bounced back last night and win 1-0 in a straight-up pitcher's duel.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly what it was a pitcher's duel, and that's a big win.
Lakeview softball slugfest, 19-10. They win over Struthers tie, and this was one that it went into extra innings. It tied up at 10, and Lakeview scored 9 runs in the top of the 8th inning. Maggie Pavlansky hit 2 home runs.
Yeah,
in one
I was
inning.
going to say, Maggie Pavlansky had 2 bombs in that game.
And then I believe in that same inning, there was a 3rd home run for Lakeview too. I think they hit 3 home runs in that 8th to score 9 runs and put that game completely out of reach. They won 19-10 in a slugfest. And you know, I expected this to be a little bit more low scoring. You have 2 pitchers in the circle returning from very experiencing seasons in Pizzone from Struthers, and then you had Ella Chadwick get the start for Lakeview, and then Reagan Chick came in and kind of cleaned things up. But you know, good pitching. Don't let this score take away from how good Pizzone is. He's going to go play in college next year, and Reagan Chick and Ella Chadwick are a good 1-2 punch. So obviously, we talked about it when we talked how impressive Fitch and Chagrin Falls were. Sometimes the first game, you're just not going to be at your sharpest when you're out there in the circle.
You want to talk about the irony. If you recall, when we had Coach Schick on, he talked about the biggest thing from last season and when they lost in that tournament game was finishing games. And this is a team that needed to finish games. Well, they got tested right out of the gates, extra innings 10-10, and they were upset to say the least. And they wanted to prove to not only coach, but to themselves that they were coming into this season ready to finish games. And they put an exclamation point and maybe a few of them on this one, scoring 9 to say, no, we're taking this one.
You look at some other scores. Columbiana softball got the win over Salem 10-0. You look at wait, there's one more. I'm missing it. Hold on.
Did Lisbon United softball get canceled?
I did not see a score for that one. And I think Lisbon's on our spreadsheet, Lisbon's at United tonight. So I think that game got moved.
It might have got moved. And that's a thing. That's the nature of this sport, is sometimes we have things that get moved around like that constantly. So we'll have to postpone this one though.
Found that last score I have for you guys. Ursuline softball got the win over Madison 12-2 to open up the season. Going through some stats for that one. Paige Ogden got the start in the circle, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. She also led the offense, 3 RBIs, 4 hits, 2 triples, 2 singles. Alyssa Shealy also had 3 RBIs. She tripled twice, doubled once. So the offense looked good. The pitching looked good. Ursuline dominates day 1, 12-2 over Madison. They will host Lakeview, that Lakeview team we just talked about with the Thundersticks. And they'll host Lakeview tonight in YSU softball complex.
The Thundersticks. I like it. I like it. That's
what they remember. That's what they call those big inflatable things that you pound. Right? They're called Thundersticks.
I think so. But I like that too for the home run boppers, because I mean that's exactly what Lakeview was. Thundersticks. I like it.
So those are the finals that we have reported on from last night's games. And it was a good one. We still had a couple get canceled because field conditions are iffy. A couple got moved, but we got a pretty full day of baseball, softball last night.
Yeah, and I mean it was pretty good considering there was just snow on the ground on a couple days ago, and we were able to get these fields in playing condition, a lot of them, enough to have a pretty full night, I think, on the network last night. A pretty good quality baseball and softball games on both sides. So definitely was I think we had a successful opening day. We had that one baseball, one softball game. It was like the nice taste. We got kind of fully into it. Now we're getting more immersed into it as the season goes along. And as the weather starts clearing up, watch it get crazy too, especially towards the end of the season, because a lot of these games have to be made up somehow.
Right. That is so true, especially the league games. Non-conference games sometimes fall by the wayside if you can't work something out. But league games, those can matter. If you don't get that rescheduled and you lose the league by 1 game, you're going to be so mad at that other team that wouldn't work with you.
It's baseball. They went from having to play Canfield at the beginning of the season to now middle of May. Right. Like that could very well mean like AAC championship, like on the line implications for both those teams.
Another big schedule change. We talked to Cheryl Weaver this morning. You'll hear from her. We're going to feature that interview after our break. But one of the things she said, they were supposed to open the season with Maslin Perry, who won the state championship last year in Division I. But now they have to schedule that one for later on in the season. They're still going to try to play them. But that would have been a heck of a way to open up the season with this young team, to expose them to probably you can't get higher. I mean, Division I state champion, that's the best of the best in the state. So talk about throwing your team to the Sharks.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? This is exactly what I talk about too. Another team in champion that is scheduling up and has these monster schedules. Like, wake up, people! If you complain about football being not as good in this area as it once was, or not as good as some of the Cleveland or Columbus area schools, or especially with basketball, wake up with baseball and softball, because this is, if not the most premier area for baseball, softball in the entire state. The number of state champions and state title contenders we have in this area year to year is
Champion has built such a name that teams come to them and say, we want to play you.
Yeah.
Like you're the team.
You see that with other teams too. The Canfields of the world now. You're seeing Strongsville wanting to play Canfield.
Yeah, right. So Strongsville was about to play some of the best teams in Division I. They called up Canfield, be like, hey, can we play you guys? Yeah, come on down. Gary Niddle, I'll play anybody.
That's why you need to get out here and support too. And if you can't, you watch it on ysnlive.com, because we provide the games for free. But get out there and support these baseball, softball teams. There's so much D1 level talent in the college realm, and so much next level college level talent playing on these fields right now. And we can't stress it enough. I'll say it every day until the cows come home and until people start filling these stands, because there's some great baseball and softball in this area, and you're doing yourself a disservice by not getting out there and seeing it.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we still have a really good conversation with Cheryl Weaver to play. It was such a blessing to get a hold of her and to be able to talk with her for a little bit. So we still have that to play. We're going to update on all the games that are happening tonight. We'll do our picks and all that and more coming up next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we continue this Thursday edition. And Ty, this room just got darker, and I'm looking out the window, and these clouds don't look happy, which makes me unhappy because I want games tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
But it's not like I'm looking at Storm Tracker 21. Shout out to our partners over at 21 WFMJ, by the way. And I'm looking at the forecast, and the rain is kind of, there's a 60% chance of rain at 1 o'clock now. But like when I looked at this morning, this is why I don't envy any meteorologist, because weather can change so quickly. Look, this morning it was like 40% at 10. You're done the rest of the day. You'll be fine. Now the rain chances threaten a little bit into the afternoon. 1 o'clock, 60% chance of rain, but it says minimal rain. Like, it says light rain stopping, so it's supposed to be light, but
definitely on like your turf fields like Fitch and stuff, they can handle like light rain throughout the entirety of a game.
Most fields can handle light rain. It's like if you get those, even if it's a half an hour of downpour, that's too much for a lot of fields. So light rain, I've seen teams playing light rain. Most fields can take light rain. But we'll just keep seeing. As of now, we don't have cancellations yet.
Games aren't until 5, so this could just be a Passover storm that's done by 2. We have about 2 hours to get the field ready, and then warm-ups and stuff can start for an hour. I mean, I think we might be all right. Let's stay tuned to Storm Tracker 21. Stay tuned to us, and we'll keep you updated on both ends of that. Hey, we want to welcome in our newest member, though, of the YSN family. I believe DJ broke it this morning on socials, as well as on our social as well, too. Welcome in Mohawk Warriors, and I believe that breaks us into
Keystone State is unlocked.
Yeah.
The Mohawk.
We got some new invasions now happening.
I think DJ put it best. It's officially official. Because we've been working them for a while. We've been having a lot of conversations with Mohawk for the last year about getting on. We've done some tests with them, and here we are finally making it officially official that Mohawk is a part of the YSN family. We can't wait to kind of talk to their coaches, talk to their players. Of course, we're going to welcome them right in the running point. We're going to reach out to them.
Now is what we got to look at. Mm-hmm. That's what's crazy, is we got to look at a whole new world of sports now, and that's going to be exciting too when we talk PIAA.
Gonna have to get educated on the teams they play so we can intelligently ask questions about their schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are officially in PA, and here we come. We continue to invade, and I'm sure DJ's gonna have a little bit more to say on that towards Power Hour, so don't miss that between 3 to 4. But I know we broke it on social, so I just wanted to give it a highlight too, and just give the Running Point official welcome to the Mohawk Warriors over there in PA.
I guess since you brought up Power Hour, real quick, let's promote what is going to be on Power Hour today. It's going to be from Mill Creek Park. They're going to have a special guest, DJ Will, and it will be I want to get the title right, the rec manager Chris Bundy will be joining DJ on the Power Hour, as he's going to talk about the great opportunities for youth sports this spring and summer at Mill Creek Park. So any ideas that you have of taking your family out to Mill Creek and the kids and having a good time, this will be the interview you want to listen to about all the things that they have planned and they have scheduled for the spring and the summer over at Mill Creek Park. Can't wait for that. It's going to be a great conversation, informative conversation for anyone looking for things to do this spring and summer with their families.
I always remember being a kid and going out to Mill Creek Park too, and like the Fellows Riverside Gardens and like Lily Pond, and they always had like little events there. Mill Creek Park does a phenomenal job too, and I mean, if you're looking for something that's not only like a cost efficient, but just a good time to kind of get outside with the family, I mean, that's a great one too. And I don't think you're going to want to miss that conversation, because I'm sure they're going to have a lot of great events, and that interview should be good too. Just exciting to see what Mill Creek Park is going to have to offer this year.
And DJ brings some more great news. They're also going to have a great interview with JFK. Yeah, so look forward to that All of that coming up on the Power Hour. We'll promote it again as we get closer to the end of the show. But since Ty brought it up, I thought it was poignant.
Sure. I mean, I guess
always get myself in trouble. Always getting myself in troubles with words I don't exactly fully understand. I think it's poignant, whatever.
But talking about JFK, and I mean football season too. We were just looking at that and what Dana Balish posted too about how close football season is. It's like, oh my goodness, it's not. It's
like
not
21 weeks.
Yeah, that's not that far. We're already a quarter of the way through the year. Like, this is the last day of March. That's wild.
Yeah, what drove me is like softball season's only 10 weeks. Like 10 weeks, we'll have the state title. It's like,
and then we're talking about upcoming football season and then summer leagues. Like,
goes
that's
fast.
insane.
It was fast.
That is insane.
So, Power Hour will feature Mill Creek Parks interview and also Ed Kiernan. It's going to be a fun interview with both those guys.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. We'll look forward to that too. Always some great interviews on the Power Hour too. And with that, we also, just like we said, wanted to give that Running Point welcome to the Mohawk Warriors, and I'm sure DJ will have a little bit more to say on that as well, and just the excitement behind that and getting into Pennsylvania. The Keystone.
Talk about excitement. I mean, I think DJ is actually heading down to Mohawk for their baseball game today, too. So like he's getting right on the track. Like, let's go. You know.
That's a good question, too, before we get to that Cheryl Weaver interview. Who are the contenders for power rankings on Monday?
Well, from
baseball, Canfield has to be up there, right? Yeah. Like, Canfield has to be on there. Salem has to be on there, I feel like. Even in a loss, I don't know. I feel like you got to put Salem in a preseason, early season power ranking. They definitely need to be on there.
From what I've seen so far in softball, you know, you almost, the namesake, you got to put Champion on there.
Got to put Champion.
You got to put South Range on there because they're returning 7. Got to put Fitch on there because Sidney Watts, when you strike out 19 in a game, you're gonna pay.
And I mean, conference champions favorited, I would say too for this year as well. I mean, geez, looking at some other baseball teams that have been playing well. I mean, how do you not put Caden Spade and Garfield on there after that?
Right,
because that's a good one.
Ursuline beating JFK, probably, that's one of those. Ursuline softball probably has to be on there too.
Even in a loss, JFK is the defending state champions coming into the season. I feel like you kind of have to put them on there. Yeah, and having Mohawk now, we'll have to see because I don't know a whole lot about Mohawk. I'll have to do my research on them, but DJ seems to have the knowledge on them. You might see PA already make a full-blown invasion here and get a spot on these power rankings. I think there's a lot of great baseball in this area, and I think that's always going to be a spark for discussion and just finding 10 teams, because I could argue 10 teams. I could argue 15 teams that could belong in the top 10.
I think Columbiana baseball,
absolutely,
and softball. Columbiana baseball and softball both kind of opened up the doors last night and took care of business, and baseball going up and doing it against Division I Warren Harding.
Edison's always a great baseball team. They'll probably make an appearance if they're not on the initial top 10 power rankings. That's always a great squad. Colopy does a great job. He's been there for a long time, always had successful teams.
Springfield baseball, 18 runs.
Yeah, like
I keep spouting off names, but at the same time, it's like
they're all over the place. Yeah, there's teams all over the place that I feel like you could make legitimate cases for. I definitely think Canfield, if you're going to talk number one team, like that's the big thing. Who do you put as an initial number one? I feel like there's a few contenders, and if you're going to go, I feel like Canfield can be one, Salem can be one, JFK.
My humble opinion, baseball, it's Canfield 1. And right now, I would put Fitch 1 in softball.
I think so as well. I think so as well. I also but I mean, I feel like JFK deserves to be in the
games
top
to play
5
this weekend too. Don't forget that. So we'll take in this weekend's games in account. But right now, that would be my opinion for the 2 number ones.
We'll see how Fitch performs too. Fitch might be able to get on baseball and softball as well. And hey, we might even see South Range make an appearance on both too, with the way South Range baseball and softball. There's plenty, I think, of baseball and softball squads that you could see. Canfield, I mean, softball, I know they had some early struggles too, but it's early season. I think they're going to get a lot better. Canfield softball make an appearance, and we know baseball is going to be on this list. So
and for South Range, it would be the school's debut in the power rankings because they weren't able to crack it in basketball for girls or boys.
Neither was Fitch.
So it would be some school debuts probably for spring sports in the power rankings.
I think there's so many arguments, and then Edison softball too. 21 runs last night in a no-hitter. That's what I said. Edison, they know how to play baseball and softball. They know how to swing the sticks out there in Richmond. They do a good job, and we've had Coach Colopy on too. If you could check that out on YouTube and on our site as well. We have that interview with a story as well. But yeah, Edison's a great team. We didn't hear a whole lot about them in basketball season. Girls team did a solid job this year, but baseball season, this is their bread and butter. This is where they really compete. And they did a good job in football season too. Colopy coaches over there, but yeah, exciting to see too. We got a chance to see both the baseball and softball. Little preview of them.
All right, Ty, I think it is time to give our nod to a softball legend in the area. We had a great conversation this morning with head coach over at Champion, Cheryl Weaver. One of the ones we just kind of bowed down and we said, whatever you want to talk about, we're good.
You want to talk about power rankings? That's definitely a team you mentioned.
When someone like that graces you with airtime, you just
Yep.
And she's been doing it since I believe she said the 99-2000 season at Champion.
23 years. Yep.
But she gives a little bit of a Champion history lesson too. Like, this program was really good before she got there. She did not want to take credit for building it. She just kind of gets credit for keeping it where it's at and raising the standard a little bit.
I think, if anything, she has definitely raised the standard and raised the bar because it's up there.
The humbleness of just like, I want to make sure I didn't build it, and she gave a lot of credit to some history. So we get a little bit of history lesson on Champion softball as well. So this is a great interview. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you miss any of it, it's on ysnlive.com as well. And here is Cheryl Weaver, the head coach of the Champion softball team. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell here with another softball preview, Coach's Corner. We're joined by someone I think that we wouldn't hesitate to call a legend in the softball world here in the Valley. Cheryl Weaver, the head coach of the Champion softball team. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, yes, and thank you for asking.
Coach Weaver, what we like to do with all of our area teams and coaches, we always like to kind of start off with a meet the team segment. Now, we know some of the names in this Champion community and we know some of the returners, but I want to give you the chance to highlight some of your returners this year and some new faces we're going to see in the Flashes team this year.
Well, let's see. What I'd really like to say is about Abigail Meadors, who didn't she was mostly our JV pitcher last year, and she is stepping up into the varsity level, and she's going to be on a little bigger stage this year, and I think that she's going to do well. I really believe in her, and she feels like she has big shoes to fill, which you look back, yes, but I think she'll do a well job. And then catching her this year as a freshman, Addie Wazella, and I'm very impressed with her. So she, I think she's going to bring a lot to the team with how vocal she is, and plus with her bat, plus the catching. And of course, we still have Bella Meyer at shortstop, and Bella, as a freshman, she had the second highest batting average, I think, at the end of the season. And it's going to be very exciting to watch her play. She's so quick at shortstop and a good arm. But I'm excited to see what she does with the bat for us. I think she's the one that is going to be very exciting to watch. We have at third base the same young lady we had before, and that's Taylor Fuller. And Taylor really surprised us. When she usually plays on her travel ball team, she says she's outfield. We needed a third baseman. We brought her in, and she just did a tremendous job. And I think this second year being there, it's going to be a little more relaxed for her. At first base, we have Maddie Jones. Maddie's a great leader. Same thing. I'm really hoping that she'll be very vocal and help the girls out, especially the girls in the outfield. not knowing where to throw the ball sometimes. With us being so late getting on our field, we haven't yet. The outfield is going to be probably a little shaky in the beginning because it's very hard to work on in a gym or even in a small parking lot. But out there in the outfield, center field will be Madison Ziegler. She would have played her freshman year, and that was the COVID year where there was no season. And then the following year, when we were back, she had to have the Tommy John surgery. And she still gets a little bit swollen and a little bit of pain when she's throwing, but she's probably got the best arm on the team if you're measuring by miles per hour. So she throws the ball hard, and she covers a good area and is not afraid to dive. Left field would be Morgan Davis. She'll be playing a lot more than what she did last year, and I think that another year experience is really going to help. She's quick, and her batting seems to have really picked up this year. So I'm excited to see Madison too. And then between second and right field, we have Savannah Trevaric and Olivia Zigarovic, and I'll be honest, I'm still not sure who's going to be playing where. In the scrimmages that we had at YSU, it was hard to decide, but till you get outside on the big field, then so that's still something up in the air. And then we've got a bunch of freshmen. We do not have a JV team this year, which is sad. It seems like every year that we had a very good season, our numbers go down. But I'm hearing it from other coaches too. And then there's the few that always have a lot. So that's great for them, but I wish I had a few of their numbers. So when we start getting into that, the talent level or the experience comes into play. And I'm hoping I'm able to use those young ladies. But it's going to be tough because I think we're going to have some pretty tough games and close games. And, we like to win.
Coach, you've obviously had to fill the holes that really good seniors have left before. This is not a new thing for you. I mean, you lose your 1-2 punch from last year in Cassidy and Emma both graduating in the pitcher circle. Now you have to bring in a new pitcher that, like you said, is going to be kind of introduced to this varsity level. Yeah. What are some of your strategies to not just pitching, but all these positions, kind of introducing players to this new standard and champion in this varsity standard when they're coming in to fill the holes of some really great players that left before them?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is making sure they stay positive. And I'm not going to say names, but there's a couple that they feel that they're not good enough because they look at those past ladies. And it's like, not every year, do you have 2 D1 pitchers or D2 ball players. You just don't have that in a smaller D3 high school. So you can't compare yourself to those girls. You just go out there, you work your hardest and give us all you got, and we can't ask for anything more. But it's making them feel positive on this, that they can do it. Nothing is impossible.
Experiencing the success that you have in your coaching career is one that I think a lot of coaches would die for too. Winning a state championship is hard, but doing it 3 times consecutively is it seems impossible. Talk to me a little bit about just creating that standard for champion too, because we know all teams nobody gets handed, and no team just starts out as a championship caliber team. Those are worked on, they have to be created, and they have to be done brick by brick. Same thing as like YSN's logo. So when we're talking about this, what are some things that you've done to help build this champion program up? And I got to figure you can't be more proud than how it's all turned out by right now.
Well, you know what? Thank you very much. But actually, it started the very first year, 1978, when Champion won the very first state championship. And from that point on, and then they turn around and win it again in 1980. I think that says something about the young ladies in Champion. They are athletic. I got to just say that. And they've always had the love for the game of softball. So when you have that, and then you have in 1994, you've got Jackie Beavers coming in, and the rest of the players on that 1994 team that won it again. And now you're starting to see some of these girls that were coming up like 2004, 2006 when we were at state, that they look up to those girls and that's who they want to be like. So it started back then. I never started it. It started back then because I didn't come in till the 1999-2000 school year. But you know, we were always looking at pictures, and that's what you want to be like. You know, the names up on the wall, you know, of the girls that were on those earlier state teams. And that's something I like to always have up because I want to see their names up there. I want to see their year up there on the banner saying that, you know, they went as far as possible. But it has started, I really believe it started way back then. I just try to keep it going.
You know, you talk about these girls that look up to the girls of the past, and now we're sitting just 2 years removed, really, from a stretch where you guys won 3 in a row. Do you still see the footprints of all those leaders from 2017 to 2019 in these girls that are coming to your program now?
Well, the only thing I will say there is what really hurt us was that year. That we did not play because the girls that are now the older girls on this team, they would have got to play with them just 1 year, and they would have seen how these girls carried, or those girls carried themselves, their desire and their work ethic, because their work ethic was just amazing. I can tell you, we played LeBray, and LeBray and Champion always have tough games. We won, but the girls were so unhappy that the game was so close. After we got off the bus, an hour later, they were down at the field practicing. And I tell that to the girls that are with us now, and I'm not sure they believe me. And I think they really needed to see that. So they know the names. And like I said, I think some of them are like, well, I can't fill their shoes. They're just a little bit scared about it. But I think if they would have got to play that 1 year, or even half of that year, what it would have shown them.
For the younger girls too, we already know the only way you kind of get experience is experience. But one way you could kind of help these younger girls out with kind of getting that high tension, high pressure experiences, the regular season too. So in saying that, you guys already play in a pretty tough league, as you mentioned too, with that MVAC, right? But kind of take that a step further. What are some of these non-conference games that you're kind of excited for these girls to see pitching wise, hitting wise, and kind of get their feet wet before the tournament?
Well, you know, we were supposed to start off with Maslin Perry, who was the last D1 state champion. And it would have been wonderful to play them, but, you know, this weather. So we have them rescheduled later, so that'll be good. You know, Chardon is another D1. We're going to play them later on. Perry up north, they're a D2. So it's been a long time since we've played them, but they're usually pretty good. You know, we scrimmaged West Branch, we scrimmaged Poland indoors, but indoors is completely different than being out. And I was very pleased on how the girls played and how they hit. But there's going to be some tough ones. We're going to go to Erie McDowell. You know, that's, if you know anything about Erie, PA, that school is like a college campus. There are college campuses that aren't as nice as that. So, and they've got so many kids, and their program is always tough. So we're looking forward to those games. And I love the girls seeing how those girls carry themselves, and also the different kind of pitching they're going to see.
And you have a new team in the MVAC this year too, with Garrettsville Garfield coming in. I know it's a team that you've probably played before. You know, it's a little bit of a rivalry even before you guys came into the MVAC with Garfield and Champion in these girls' sports. Talk about how excited you are to kind of welcome them into the MVAC and to get to play them twice a year.
Oh, you know what? Garrettsville is also one of those schools that I want to say it seems like their girls are very athletic. You got them winning state in track and field and throwers, and it's exciting to play them because they're always so good. And Portage County can be pretty tough, so we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to playing everyone in our league. We have a goal. As always, you want to win league first and then worry about the rest later. But it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting to play them.
I've always said, too, the difference between a successful team and a successful program is what you're doing to build those younger players up as you're fielding senior players. And it seems like this team has always been successful. So in saying that, I want to ask the question, what is that standard to playing Flash's softball? In other words, when you come up and you play at this varsity level, what do you hope it means to the girls? And what would you hope they kind of repeat to other people, what it means to them to be a Flash at the end of the day?
Well, you got to have some pride, and I hope that that's what they have. I'm on champion softball team because of all the past girls that have been on it. It's you got to have a little bit of pride, and it's the belief that you can do it. I guess that's one of the biggest things is knowing it's not just you. There's 9 girls on that field, and with the DP Flex, you got 10 girls in the game, but everybody's got the other girls back. And if you do that, you can go very far. So I guess I'm just hoping that they have the pride as being on a champion team.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, give a shout out to the champion community. I know they support you so well. And also let them know when the first game is going to happen. I mean, I know it's been a crazy schedule. There are probably a lot of changes to what schedule they're looking at as fans. So give a little bit of an update on when your first game is and when they can come out and see the Flashes.
Well, actually, today Brookfield's supposed to come to us, and I actually got a text from my AD saying, Cheryl, can you go check the field? So I'll be right after this heading down to the field and seeing if it's playable. But I had already asked the AD, hey, if Brookfield's field is playable, is there a chance that we could get a bus and go there? So we're hoping we can play, but this rain that came through, who knows what it did. So the community has been just tremendous to us. You can't ask for better fans. I know every community probably says the same thing, but they have helped us out, financially and just being there. And we've got gentlemen that haven't had kids in the program for 20 years, and they still show up and watch, and that really means a lot. And I want to thank them, thank the school, and I got to thank my husband for allowing me to do this.
Right. Coach, I also want to give you that chance to shout out your assistants and just some other big names in the champion program, because we know the players, the coaches, they get all the limelight, they get the spotlight, but there's plenty of other assistants and contributors to all these programs that certainly help out too. So I want to give you that chance to shout them out now.
Are you talking this year, or are you talking
if you want to go this year, and then if you want to extend it beyond that, we can always know. We can take extra thank yous too.
Oh, well, you know what? I want to thank Larry Seifert. He was one of my coaches back in, I believe it was 2004. I got that. I'm bad now with years. My husband can rattle it off, but I'm bad anymore with that. But we coached together in travel ball, and he's just a wonderful man and a wonderful coach. And he taught me so much. And I guess that would be my biggest thank you to a coach. He's just a wonderful man, and I don't want to get all teared up or anything, but he's just, I just got to thank him the most. But otherwise, I mean, I have had so many coaches in the past, and you know what they say, if you want to be a good coach, you better put people around you that know just as much as you do or more. And I have been blessed with that over all the years. And that is another reason why we have gone as far as we have. Because if you keep the right people around you, it makes a world of difference. You know, this year I have Jacqueline Carpenter and Abby White helping me, and I'm very thankful for them. You know, I've been at Champion 23 years, and I'm thinking maybe a couple more years, and I'm hoping that Abby White, who played for me and was our third baseman, will be able to take over the job. But, you know, who knows what will happen there. But I love that she's with us now, and she's learning a little bit and what it all takes to be a head coach. And I think a lot of people don't realize all the work that we have to do, just even paperwork. It's just amazing. But I just have to thank every coach that was with me in the past.
It's got to be such a blessing to have someone that you used to coach come out and be on your assistant staff, and then be someone who you're considering to take the reins when you do decide that it's enough. Coach, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it so much. We can't wait to cover you guys all season long. We know we're going to talk to you again soon because we know how successful this program is going to be, and we look forward to the future with Champion Softball.
Oh, you know what? Thank you so much for those kind words, and you guys take care, and thanks for what you do.
Thank you, Coach.
Cheryl Weaver, the head coach of the Champion Softball team, joining us pre-recorded, but on Running Point. Excuse me, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. I could talk to Cheryl Weaver forever. So,
first win of the year.
How'd that happen? That was you, wasn't it? That had to be you.
What? What was me? What happened?
You didn't see?
No.
Nate Shaw's interview just went up for like a second. I didn't touch it.
I didn't even see any. The screens actually stayed the same for me.
Oh, okay.
It just like it lagged for you for like a second, like you froze, and then it just you started going.
For me, because peek behind the scenes here, I have all the post game interviews in the green room, and Nate Shaw's post game interview like put up on the screen for like a second, then jumped off. So don't know what happened there. Didn't happen on your end, so we'll just move on as if nothing happened.
That seems like weird glitch gremlin or StreamYard glitch gremlins. I don't know if that's our streams or if that's just StreamYard.
You ain't kidding. But back to Cheryl Weaver. What a great conversation. I mean, she'll beat you up on the softball field with no remorse, but she's the sweetest person off the softball field outside the lines that you'll ever meet. I wish we'd been covering her for the last decade at Champion Softball. Incredible program, incredible standards, and as she said, it's been good since the start of softball at Champion. They won the first ever softball state championship, and they haven't looked back since.
Yeah, no doubt, and I mean it's been aptly named Champion for a reason. And I mean they're a school of champions, and I mean in the softball program they take that seriously. And she's been a huge influential factor. And I mean, she might not have made the standard, but she's raised the standard at Champion too to something that is more prestigious than I think any other real softball team in the area in the last decade, like you said, has made it. So props to what she has done and has continued to build. And hey, who knows? You never know. Champion might just be ready to make another one of those special type of runs.
I think she brought up a good point, because when we talked about that last year, we talked about how sad it was for seniors and what could have been for all these teams. But she brought up the point that for her team specifically, but I'm sure other teams were in this boat, the young players didn't get a chance to really be with those great leaders that set the tone for that team. Like you said, the teams that would win, but not win by enough for their standard. They would go to the ball field after the game and just practice by themselves. That's just ridiculously work ethic. So these young players that are now leaders didn't have that experience with them. Even if they weren't on the field, they didn't have that time in the dugout with them. They didn't get the chance to absorb from those players. And I think when you have the conversation about that missed year, that factor gets kind of lost in the conversation about leaving legacies and leaving the standard and how hard it is to do that for the young players when you don't get that year.
Yeah, and I mean it's just taking a year right out of the middle of history, tradition, and it is a crucial year. But I mean, they're adjusting and they're figuring it out, and they're doing a great job of it too. And they got one of the best coaches in the area to kind of help guide a lot of these younger girls into what they need to become eventually too, and how to fill those leadership roles and how to continue progressing. And
last year they had a quote unquote down year as far as champions concerned, 13-12. But they still won the MVAC, and they still were one play away from probably getting to a regional game. And once you get the regionals, it's a wild card. Everyone's good. Anything can happen. So they were one play away from walking off that district championship game and going to regionals again, despite the quote unquote down year. So you never count out a champion on the softball diamond. I'm excited to see their new pitcher because obviously they lost their 1-2 punch, both being seniors, both playing in college now in Cassidy Schaefer and Emma Gamont. So what they'll bring in the circle, I know they bring a lineup that can hit. Bella Meyer is one of the best hitters in the area, period. So I know they can hit in this lineup. I'm excited to see what they bring in the circle.
Yeah, and I mean, you never expect them to go out without a fight. So, I mean, regardless of the year that they're going to have, watch out for champion come tournament time.
Well, the softball game in that district championship game. I mean, South Range took a big early lead. Champion just never kept giving. What am I trying to say? Never
stopped giving up.
Never stopped fighting. Never stopped scrapping, and they slowly but surely got back up in that lead. And then here comes Cassidy Schaefer, at the plate with runners on, hits one deep to the outfield, and Maddie Data, who we heard from in the post-game interview, had a big catch at the wall into the game, and it almost ended the same way that South Range ended the game a couple of games later against Ursuline with that almost walk-off home run that wasn't to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the excitement of this sport.
Although it wouldn't have been a walk-off for champion because I believe they were the quote-unquote road team, so it would have been like the game leading.
Go ahead, yeah, and go ahead to potentially game winning RBI. But no, you saw what South Range was able to do last year, getting over them. I don't know. This is going to be an improved champion team.
Both teams are in the same boat. They didn't lose like a ton of seniors as far as their roster goes, but they lost important ones. I mean, South Range lost their pitcher that went on to play in YSU, and they lost their shortstop, which is probably the most important defensive position in that infield. Leads that infield. You put your best athlete in at short. Best arm in the infield is usually either at third or short. So Jillian Strakansky, Reagan Irons has kind of moved from third to short. At least that was last night. So they hope that Reagan can kind of take that next step as a senior, but you lose her. And then now you have I think South Range now has two pitchers that when you combine them equate to the specialness of Bree Kohler. And it might kind of benefit them to have that 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. I think they struggled with the depth last year. They had to ride Bree Kohler a lot. So South Range is definitely hoping that they can have that 1-2 punch this year and mix in Julie Stakowitz and Samantha Suzanne in the circle to give them a really lethal 1-2 punch.
Yeah, and I mean it always helps if you can have a little bit of depth too to switch things up with, especially if someone's not having the best day, you could kind of throw the number 2 out there as well. So that kind of helps out. So I mean, hopefully South Range kind of try to figure out different ways to win and different ways to be successful, but placing 2 girls in that opportunity to really stand out this season.
I think what those pitchers have to learn the most this year and have to get it quick is confidence in themselves and almost that that Brie Kohler swag that she brought to the circle, where she was always looking at herself as like, I'm the best, not in the arrogant way, but in the confident way. Because, Coach DeRose, you can go over to his post-game interview, and he said, after giving up that home run and struggling to hit her spots a little bit, Samantha Suzanne asked to be taken out of the game. And Jeff DeRose said, no, you're going to stay in. Well, I believe in you. You're going to get through this. And she did. So hopefully experiences like that will give these pitchers confidence in themselves for South Range.
Getting some love in the comments section as well with Julie and Sam. Great pictures and great.
There you go.
Right on time and on cue are our comment sections too. And,
always on time.
Yeah. Give it some love to the South Range community. And softball season, you always talk South Range too. I think everyone's kind of hoping we see a South Range Ursuline matchup again too.
Yeah, and we forget that champions will be in that same Division III circle. So champion Ursuline South Range all in the same, not even the same region, the same district. They might end up in the only reason they played in the regionals.
Someone's got to face them. I mean, someone's got to get through them.
The only reason Ursuline and South Range played in the regional finals last year is because we moved to that super district and they split the two area teams. So, if that doesn't happen, then Ursuline champion and South Range in the old days, all three in the same district bracket, only one can get out of district. So nowadays it's super district, so we might see two of them get out of the districts. Probably, I would imagine that they would split each other and not all go in the same bracket. But you're gonna probably see them in the region too. It's a tough region to get out of.
Absolutely, and you're gonna have to beat the best to be the best. To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
You also have teams like Tuslaw in this Division III that's a little bit out of Ysn's realm. That's a very good softball team that's usually in the region. You have Northwest, who's a very good softball program lurking in that region. So that's why when we talked about basketball in one of the last conversations we had was you can't hurt basketball status in the area because of how hard our region is. Softball's kind of the same way. Our region is brutal in most of the divisions trying to get out of it. I mean, you look at the Federal League in Division I, Hoover, Perry won state. They come out of our region in softball. So you can't knock the level of play
our
because
area is really good for baseball, softball. We have a lot of champions in our area, and extend that to our region.
Yeah,
like this region dominates a lot of the time. Dominates.
Our region is nuts. I believe in Ohio, in my opinion, it's actually the two opposite sides of the state that are the best in softball, because you have Lakota West and Mason and good programs down near Cincinnati and the southwest part of Ohio, and then you have really great programs that have won a lot of state championships up here in the Northeast. So
a lot of those
not a lot going on in the other parts of the state.
A lot of those teams on that Kentucky border, they're probably saying peace to that state championship rule in Kentucky going up to Ohio. So they got a chance at some state title gold. Saying we got to play the teams from Louisville? No thanks.
One state championship in Kentucky, 4 in Ohio.
Yeah,
we're gonna go to Ohio.
Yeah, let's go try to get a state championship real quick.
Oh wow! Although I believe Lakota West, Lakota East, and Mason, the three teams I mentioned, are all Division I, so they'd probably fare pretty well in that Kentucky tournament.
Yeah,
but there are other teams that
seem like it's those opposite sides. Well, it would technically be this and this. Yeah.
It's opposite. It's diagonal.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. It's technically this and this. I had it this way, but that was the wrong way. I had to flip my hands.
Yeah, because it's mirrored, right? So when you do this on you, like, to you it's right, but to the screen it's wrong. So
yeah,
you have to mirror it.
Yeah, because then like in front of my face it's like this, but no,
right.
That's wrong. It's gotta be.
Wow, we got. I don't know why the people needed that conversation, but we got it.
We got good softball in this area, and that's all the more the reason why we need to stay on and get our picks in for today's games.
Let's go into our picks.
Or do you want to take a break before our picks?
No, let's go right into them because we're running out of time. I think we got. Okay, so we just got an update from Champion Baseball. Thank you for them on Twitter. Champion and Brookfield Baseball is on at 5, so that one has been confirmed. Still waiting for that update for Champion Softball. We heard Cheryl Weaver at the end of that interview saying that she was going to check the field right after she talked to us, and it was either going to be at Champion or she was going to see if they can move it to Brookfield. So we'll wait on an update for that, but we're going to assume it's on as of now because we haven't heard otherwise, so we'll pick it. and we'll see what happens to that game in the future. So
right now, is it official that I'm up 1 since I got 3 points on you over JFK Ursuline, and you got 2 on me for Struthers Lakeview? So what is it?
Go over the other 2 that we split on, because I know we split on 4 yesterday, and I know you wrote them down.
Well, we got the 2 softball games, but I think you said they didn't have Lisbon and United. You said didn't happen, and that's a score we were waiting on.
Right, and the other one, wasn't there a 4th game we split?
I have the only ones I have on here: Howland, Boardman, Ursuline, Warren, JFK, Lakeview, Struthers, and Lisbon United.
Okay, so Howland Boardman didn't happen either. So
yeah,
we'll go today. You're up by 1. 3-2 is the score.
Yeah, and I mean anything can happen for sure.
And we'll start with baseball. This is no particular order. I'm starting at the top of our games at a glance schedule. And we will go first with baseball. Poland at Fitch. Ty, you're going to be on the call. 5 o'clock first pitch. This one at Fitch, of course. And since you won, you get the option to either take this one or defer it to me.
I'll take this one. And my man Joe Roth's slated to be on the mound tonight. Should be a good matchup. Poland always brings the heat. They're going to have some nice swingers in that lineup, some nice bats. Pitching will be interesting, but I think Fitch, as long as they get a good performance out of Roth, offense needs to be a little bit better than yesterday, but I'm going to take the Falcons with Roth on the mound tonight.
And I'm looking at the rest of these games and seeing like how much I think we're going to split on. Trying to be strategic here. I'm not going to split on you with this
too, because like one split can technically give you a bunch of points too, depending on how lopsided. If we split on East Liverpool Edison, think about that. If we split on them
21, sucker.
Yeah, if we split on them 2 days ago, you get 18 points on me. If you picked Edison and I picked East Liverpool, if we split on them yesterday, I would have got 1 point. Like that's how crazy.
I picked the softball game.
Yeah, you would have had a
21
bunch of points on me.
All right, so I think this is going to be close. I think it's safe to split, and I don't think it's going to be a runaway. So I think even if I lose, I'm not going to have to make up too many points. So I'll go Poland. I'll split with you on this one. I think it's going to be a really good baseball game.
I think it is too.
Poland's offense showed up really good last night, 9-3 win over Hubbard, and we'll see what their lineup has to offer against Joe Roth, who is of course an amazing pitcher on the mound himself. So Fitch trying to keep their pitching ways, and Poland trying to keep their offensive ways going.
Fitch trying to figure out offense too, so we might see another game like we saw Fitch and Chagrin Falls last night, a pitcher's duel.
Up next from Scene Park, Scene 1 at 5 o'clock, Western Reserve playing Ursuline. My first pick this time, I will take Ursuline to go 2-0.
Yeah, you're not going against the Irish this time, and I'm not against Ursuline.
Enough of a statement last night for me. South Range at Cardinal Mooney. This one will be at 5 o'clock on Scene 2. Ty, it is your first pick. Who you got between the Raiders and the Cardinals?
This is baseball, correct? Too
baseball.
Yeah. This is actually a sneaky good matchup because Cardinal Mooney is I think going to be a drastically improved team. And we had Steve Leslie on the other day, and he was even saying that's going to be a dark horse team to watch out for. I'm going to go with program prestige over the last couple years, what we've seen from these teams. I'm just going to go with what I've seen. I'm going to go South Range in this early.
Well played, Ty.
Yeah.
Well played. Not going to split with you. I can't pick against my alma mater.
I didn't think you were going to, and I can't pick against until I need to see Mooney play a couple games too before I start being a believer in them. I do think that they can. They have a chance to make a run though.
Lakeview at Struthers, round 2. Once again, Lakeview last night won in a comeback victory. It was 7-5 for the Bulldogs this time around. 5 o'clock first pitch from Scene 3. Can Struthers even the series, or is Lakeview gonna come away with it? My first pick, I say Struthers evens the series, and I'll take the Wildcats. I think it was such an evenly good match. I think the Wildcats come out and split.
It's so scary splitting games because it's like you never know. Because this could also be a game where like the pitcher just has a bad day, and then one of these teams just go off.
Both teams can score too because they proved that yesterday. I mean, neither offense struggled.
I'm also going to take Struthers just because it's conference play and 2 times in a row. Yeah, it's hard to beat a team twice in a row like that. Let me get Struthers as well.
All right, Salem looks to bounce back. They come back home to host Canton South, who they lost to last night 4-2. Derek Rhodes will be on the call, and that game is going to be 5 o'clock first pitch from Salem in their home opener.
Me?
It is you.
I'm playing same strategy as Struthers. Give me Salem in this one.
Yep, I think Salem, I have a hard time seeing them lose 2 in a row. On this schedule, Mohawk's opponent is not on there, but I'm not picking against Mohawk, even if they were playing.
Yeah, welcome to the network, Mohawk.
Mohawk, roll all the way. I'll pick them. I know Ty will too.
Yeah, let's go Warriors.
That first pitch is slated for 5:30. It will be on ysnlive.com. DJ Oakley will be there for the call. Okay, the rest of these baseball games, not on the network, but to our knowledge, are still happening. So we'll go through them. Brookfield, the champion, round 2. Champion won last night, 8-3. We just got confirmation on this one. It is absolutely on. So what do you think about this one? It is your first pick, technically.
Give me Le Champion.
Yeah, I'll take champion 2 to sweep this time. LeBray hosting Camel. LeBray won last night 10-0. I'll take LeBray.
Yeah, give me LeBray.
Cheney at Wellsville. Baseball.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. I mean, we had a really good you had a really good conversation, I should say, with Wellsville baseball.
We also talked with Cheney baseball too.
We both talked to Cheney, right?
Yep. We both talked to Coach Gruber of Cheney. And I mean, that's the thing, it's just trying to build this program back to what it can be. And we've seen successful baseball teams through Cheney. Wellsville's a tough team though, too.
I'm gonna take Wellsville. Is it my first pick?
I think so, yeah. This is split worthy enough with this one. I'll split with you. Give me the West Side, Cheney. Let's do something tonight.
All right, we go to Crestview, traveling to Newton Falls. Rebels against Tigers. This will be I believe the opening day for the two teams. I don't believe they played last night. I think they got canceled. Looking for a score. I didn't see a score. Newton Falls at Crestview. My first pick, I'll take Crestview. Give me the Rebels.
Yeah, I'll take Crestview as well.
All right, Heartland Christian at Latonia tonight. 5 o'clock first pitch. Your first pick.
Heartland.
Give me the Lions as well to get the win. Howland will go to Columbiana. So Columbiana making the AAC kind of trip around the diamond. They got Warren Harding last night, 11-1. Can they keep it interesting and go for the AAC 2 days in a row against Howland tonight?
Your first pick, sir.
My first pick. I'm gonna can't argue with what they put on the field yesterday. They look so impressive. 11-1 win over Harding. I will take Columbiana to win this game.
Yeah, we had I talked with Columbiana's coach personally too, and I mean they've built such a great program there, and I mean it's just a different type of baseball too, and I mean that the tradition there is huge. Howland has though too. These are two great baseball teams consistently. Do I have faith in the AAC and the Howland Tigers and pulling it off over Columbiana? I'm up by 1, but that doesn't mean jack.
That doesn't mean jack.
That doesn't mean jack. For the sake of chaos, screw it. Give me the Howland Tigers.
I think you just wanted some money points with their fan base. I know a lot of their fan base watches Running Point. And I'll be in the doghouse. I don't care if it gets me some points.
The doghouse. You're in the.
Or I should say the Tiger House.
Yeah,
Tiger Den.
You're in the
Tiger's Den.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Tiger's Den. That sounds really intimidating. Liberty goes to Garfield. Caden Spade with the no-hitter last night. Now we get to see kind of the depth on the mound for Garfield. What do you think about this one? I believe it's your first pick. I picked Columbiana first, so. Liberty at Garfield round 2. Can Garfield pitch lights out again?
Nah, man. Give me the G-men.
Yeah. That 16-0, that's way too impressive for me to think Liberty's going to bounce back from that. Give me the G-men as well.
Yeah, they're making emphatic statements right now on the entire, not only MVAC Grace side, but they're making a statement for the area too, and just YSN saying welcome.
Lisbon at United Baseball. This one is being played because it wasn't played yesterday. So I think I'm going to keep my pick the same for this one. I'll go with Lisbon.
I think I picked Lisbon baseball, and I think we split softball. I'll go Lisbon baseball then too.
All right, Warren JFK and Jackson Milton has been postponed on the baseball side of things. The softball game is still on for those of you that are wondering about Warren JFK, Jackson Milton. We just got the update from Jackson Milton Athletics on Twitter that the baseball game has been canceled, but the softball game is still on for 5 o'clock. So we'll skip that one on the schedule, and we'll go to the last one on the schedule. Southeast at Girard. Girard playing their first game of the year. 5:30 first pitch. And I believe it is your first pick for this one.
Do I go Girard? Do I go Southeast? I don't know a whole lot about the Girard program in recent years. Give me Southeast.
I'm not picking against the banner. I'm not picking against the banner.
I'll be the bad guy this time.
I'll rock the banner all day. Rock that Power G. The only time you'll ever see me rock it, because it also stands for Georgia, who I hate with the white hot.
You know what that means? That means Southeast. Get on the banner.
Ty's calling you out, Ravenna Southeast.
You're literally right down the road from me. Get on the banner.
Call him up, Ty. Make a road trip down to Southeast. Take a business card.
I come on the show tomorrow. I'm like, I got him.
I got him.
I have a contract. I got him.
You got the signed contract.
I got him.
You somehow got him to nowhere.
I open up the show tomorrow. I got him.
All right, we'll go to softball, and we'll start off at the top of the list. Latonia going to Struthers. This one will be on the network. 4:45 first pitch. Bob Zaney will have the call. Struthers tries to bounce back from their tough loss to Lakeview last night, and they host a non-conference game in Latonia.
Give me the Wildcats. I think they look good against Lakeview. It was just a really bad inning that got away from them. I think they can bounce back.
Nicolina Pizzone is a really good pitcher. She'll bounce back from the tough night last night. She'll have a good outing, and I think Struthers is still going to be fine this year as far as their season goes. I'll take Struthers as well to bounce back tonight and get the win. We have Canfield at Poland. I'll be on the call here. 5 o'clock first pitch. You saw Canfield a couple of times.
Battle of 224.
Poland got the walk-off win last night. Ty, who you got?
Is it me or is it you?
It is you, because I just picked Struthers and Latonia first.
Give me Poland's pitching looked really good. So is Canfield's, but they're a little younger. Give me Poland in this one.
Look at DJ. Challenge accepted. So you take Poland. Yeah, I'll take Poland too. I think the same reason I picked them against Hubbard last night. I think they'll make game-winning plays down the stretch. They've kind of built this winning culture in Poland softball where they just know how to come up in big situations. I think Milena Toth will have a really good outing. I think she pitched pretty well against Fitch. And I think she'll pitch pretty well against Poland. And she got the rest because obviously they did not pitch her last night. So she has 1 day's rest. McDonald will be pitching back-to-back days. I think for Poland, they'll probably pitch McDonald. So not confirmed, but I would assume. So it'll be interesting, but I'm going to take Poland and their ability to make big plays down the stretch. Hubbard trying to bounce back from last night's loss. They will go to Springfield. Tigers making their season debut from the softball diamond. It's going to be Maddie Lesnack on the circle for the Tigers and J.C. Mullen and a lot of good athletes.
I'm glad you're picking
softball
first
team.
in this one because I do not want to pick first in this one.
Look, Hubbard was so close last night to no-hitting Poland. I can't pick against them. I think they're going to go to Springfield. They're going to be angry about it. Offense is going to be a little bit better, and I think they'll beat the Tigers. Give me Hubbard.
It's so hard to pick against Springfield teams because they're just always so good. There's never bad teams in Springfield. But in this case, yeah, I just feel like the pitching looked really impressive. I feel like you're going to see a lot of similar faces from that side of things. Give me Hubbard in this one as well.
All right, we go to Warren Harding, and they will go to Mooney on the Field of Dreams. Eric Hughes will be on the call. 5 o'clock first pitch from the beautiful Field of Dreams down there in Boardman. your first pick because you made me take Springfield.
Yeah, I got Mooney.
Yeah, Mooney. No explanation needed.
I don't need an explanation for
Harding's
this.
not on the banner. Mooney's out Elena Scavina and Elena Francis, both back. And they'll kind of flip each other.
Harding also had their struggles yet last year in the softball realm, so I'm just curious on seeing what they field this year. And it's just early season. I gotta go Mooney in this one.
All right, we are gonna assume for now that this game is on. We haven't heard otherwise. So Brookfield at champion. Both teams making their debut. This one's big. Brookfield wants to make a splash. 17 wins last year. They went all the way to the district championship game, lost to Matthews, who eventually went to the state championship game. This is probably going to be champions, one of their biggest competitions in the MVAC. Ty, it is my first pick, and I always get the bad ones, I swear. But I'm not going to pick against the coach we just had on today. I'm not going to pick against Cheryl Weaver. I'm not going to pick against champion. Give me the Flashes.
Yeah, I got Le Champion as well.
All right, Camel goes to LeBray tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch. It's your first pick.
Give me LeBray.
Give me LeBray as well. We got 5 minutes. Let's get through these quick. Carrollton going to West Branch. This is an EBC matchup tie. I'm taking West Branch. Rock the banner.
Warriors.
Oh, we just got a update from Fitch. Softball game tomorrow against Western Reserve has been postponed. That is fresh off the iron. Just got it on Twitter, and so we'll make those adjustments.
Fresh off the
tomorrow.
iron.
Did I say that?
Fresh off the iron.
I'm in oven. Oh my gosh, I cannot make metaphors at all.
Clothes on the iron.
Fresh
we
off the
can't
oven.
be
Fresh out of the oven. Let's get through these games. Oof. You take West Branch too?
Yeah, West Branch.
All right, we'll go Crestview at Newton Falls. I'll take Crestview.
Crestview.
Your first pick, East at Niles, softball.
Let me get Niles.
I'll take East. East Liverpool at Edison, softball.
Let me
Edison.
go. Let me get Edison.
We have Garfield at Liberty. 5 o'clock first pitch.
I got Garfield.
Give me Garfield as well. Lakeview at Ursuline, YSU softball complex, 5 o'clock first pitch.
Give me Ursuline.
Okay. Lisbon at United, 5 o'clock first pitch.
I still got United.
I'll take Lisbon. By the way, give me Ursuline in that matchup with Lakeview. I forgot to pick it. Warren JFK at Jackson Milton. This game's still happening, softball wise. 5 o'clock first pitch.
I got Jackson Milton.
Give me Jackson Milton as well. We just got an update from Fred Moots as well. Boardman has added a game. They are going to be playing Girard at the Field of Dreams S2. So Mooney going to be playing at Field of Dreams. Boardman going to be playing at Field of Dreams as well. They will play Girard. So I will pick this one first. Give me Boardman.
Softball, right?
Softball.
Yeah, give me Boardman.
So Boardman, Girard at Field of Dreams. That was just updated to me. Once again, update. Fitch softball tomorrow. Canceled. Not happening against Western Reserve. So we got those squared away. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4. A lot of good interviews on that Power Hour. Don't miss it. We're taking a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2. We have 2 softball players confirmed for tomorrow. Maddie Lester will join us at 12:15. At 12:30, we'll have Justice Vrabel from Maddie Lester from Boardman, Justice Vrabel from Lisbon. They'll both be on tomorrow, 12:15 and 12:30. Don't miss it. All that and more on Running Point tomorrow, 12 to 2. Until then, have a great night. Get out to some softball, baseball.